It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. This is for Sunday, the 27th of April. I'm Michael Groff. This is one of those days that lives in infamy in the weather world. 14 years ago today, April 27th, 2011, 207 tornadoes touched down from Arkansas all the way to New York State, including 62 in the state of Alabama alone. Of those, 3 turned out to be EF5 tornadoes. 252 people lost their lives just in Alabama. And the total damage done was in the billions and billions of dollars. This was part of a 3-day historic generational tornado outbreak that has been and will continue to be studied for generations to come. Now, fortunately for us here in the Valley, we don't have to worry about things like long-track violent tornadoes. In fact, all we really have to worry about for today is just, are we going to eat outside or not? I mean, just a glorious day today, temperatures below average. A warming trend takes place for the week ahead with afternoon highs returning to above average levels. But by next week, another weather system comes into the western states, and that should bring about a potential for more cooler weather, maybe even the threat of precipitation. We'll talk about that and so much more as we dive on in and discuss. First, the almanac from yesterday. Gorgeous. 86 degrees was the afternoon high. Yeah, it was a little bit warm in the sun, that's for sure. 65 the morning low. 88 and 64 the averages for this time of year, so pretty close to where we ought to be. As we look outside right now, here at 9 a.m., we've got sunny sky. It's 64 degrees at Sky Harbor. Dew point's 35, humidity 34%. A light wind, and the barometer is steady. Satellite picture out here across the west. We do have a weather system coming in through the southwestern United States this morning. Now, this is going to lift harmlessly off to the north and east of us, but one thing it is doing is ushering in some cooler air here to the southwest. And that's why high temperatures here in the south central deserts today probably just stay in the 70s to near 80 degrees. So we'll be, I'd say, 8 to 14 degrees below average, depending on where you are here in southern Arizona. Yeah, some breezy conditions for the northern part of the state. But in terms of sensible weather for us, hardly even a cloud to be found here. Now, as that system lifts out, it certainly will create some havoc for the plain states, as we'll show you here in just a moment. Here's the watch warning map. And obviously with some breezy to windy conditions, low humidity, yes, we have red flag warnings across the rim country and much of eastern Arizona. That potential of wildfires exists, and especially so for New Mexico. Most of that state under red flag warnings, high wind warnings, even some blowing dust advisories there, and those extend into parts of Colorado. And other than that, no high impact events right now. But later today, we do have, on the convective outlook, that slight risk of severe storms, level 2 out of 5 from Midland, Odessa. I know they've been on this outlook quite a bit this past week. Northward toward Lubbock, Amarillo, Dodge City, Garden City, Liberal, Kansas. Further to the north toward Rapid City and Bismarck and Dickinson, North Dakota. And so this is the day 1 outlook. Any threat of thunder will stay far to the north of Arizona as that system and all of its dynamics will remain across Utah, Nevada, and points to the north and east from there. Here's the day 2 outlook. This is tomorrow. This runs from 5 a.m. our time tomorrow through 5 a.m. Tuesday morning. And we've got the moderate risk, level 4 out of 5, to include places like Des Moines, Rochester, Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Cloud, Minnesota, eastward toward Eau Claire, Rice Lake, and La Crosse, Wisconsin. The enhanced risk goes down toward Kansas City and includes further to the north toward Duluth, Rhinelander, Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin in that, and even over just barely to the west of Milwaukee and Racine and Kenosha, Wisconsin. And let's highlight that tornado threat for tomorrow. And you've got that 15 to 29% zone for the probability of tornadoes. Again, for parts of Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, those same areas I mentioned in that moderate risk for tomorrow. And you see that hatched area. And when you see that hatched area on this map, it indicates the potential of a significant tornado. That's EF2 or higher. Again, storm chasers, that's going to be where you're keying in on tomorrow. Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, for that potential of long track violent tornadoes. Those are possible tomorrow conditions are coming together. And if you don't see those, one thing you will more likely see up there is strong, damaging straight line winds and large hail that will also be a threat. All modes of severe weather possible across parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin tomorrow. And even outside of that zone, really extending further to the south, even into parts of Oklahoma, the Texas Panhandle northward toward Kansas and Nebraska. So a large swath of severe weather is possible across the northern plains tomorrow. Now, closer to home, our precipitation outlook, this is valid through next Sunday morning. Rain amounts in Phoenix, nothing. Statewide, ostensibly nothing. And there is forecast uncertainty that's going to start to emerge here as we go out toward next weekend. And we're going to talk about that right now as we get to the models, have a look at things. This is the GFS, the 06Z run, valid at 2 o'clock this afternoon. There's that area of low pressure. It's out here centered over Nevada. Now, the negative height anomalies are extending here into Arizona, but this system is lifting to the north and east. There's no moisture this far south with this feature. All it's going to do is bring some breezy conditions, especially across northern Arizona today, and cool us off nicely. So down at the surface for the rest of the day today, mostly sunny. What you see is what you get. Gorgeous. Highs mid to upper 70s. We probably don't even make it to 80 degrees today. For late April, that's not bad. We show you some of the recent years here on this almanac, going back to 2006, and you can see we had a couple of days with highs in the 70s and a couple more with low 80s, but you can also see we can easily be up over 100 degrees. And historically speaking, on this graphic, 4% of the time on April 27th, we have had a high temperature at or above 100 degrees in Phoenix, but almost 40% of the time we're at 90 degrees or above. And 9% of the time, interestingly enough, we have had measurable rain on April 27th, but today we'll fall into that 91% of the time where there is not measurable rain, as it will be mostly sunny today and dry. For tonight, clear sky, and hey, it'll be nice and cool. Lows could get down in the mid 40s in the coolest of spots around the valley or just outside of the valley, out into the kind of open desert areas. But for us here in the city, generally in the 50s. Then for tomorrow, sunny, but here comes the warming trend. Highs upper 70s and low 80s. Still a gorgeous day, below average temperatures tomorrow. We'll rebound back toward the mid and upper 80s on Tuesday, and I'd say low 90s are pretty likely in here, upper 80s and low 90s by Wednesday and Thursday. And here comes Friday, and again, upper 80s, low 90s. But look what's happening here as we get toward next weekend. Another fairly potent upper low is dropping into the Great Basin and across the Southwest. You can see some rain off to the north and west of us for the Great Basin, the Pacific Northwest. How will this system evolve? That's the big question. Now, next Saturday still looks mostly sunny, maybe an increase in clouds, breezy. Temperatures might back off a degree or two. We'll still be close to 90, but look what happens a week from today. This is Sunday, the 4th of May. That's a pretty cold core upper low that's here over the west. Those height anomalies, I mean, that's about, 3 standard deviations below average for negative heights here. And so that means temperatures are going to be cooler. If this works out as the GFS advertises it, afternoon highs may be dropping back into the 70s for next week or next weekend, next Sunday. And depending on how this system lines up, there could be some small moisture advection. This is moving over land. It's not going to dip down far enough to really pull in a lot of subtropical moisture, but a system that strong and that cold this time of year could certainly at least have enough dynamics to at least generate a few showers, especially across northern Arizona. Will we see anything here in the southern part of the state? I still say that's doubtful. But we'll have to obviously watch this and see how it plays out. We've seen very consistent messaging from the GFS. Now the European and the European AI model, the other deterministic models are buying in on this. So it is looking more and more likely that next weekend, particularly by about Sunday of next weekend, we should see cooler temperatures in here. And that will be a breath of fresh air because, as you know, in early May, it can be absolutely scorching hot here. Here's Monday, the 5th of May. And again, this upper low is here over the Southwest. So for Cinco de Mayo, you could be outside, conceivably, with afternoon highs, again, probably well below average. Keep in mind, this time of the year, May 5th, we have highs generally in the low 90s here, and we'll be at least 10 degrees below that if this verifies. Going out 10 days, this is Tuesday the 6th, and that system is lifting off into the plain states, going negative tilt as it does. We'll have to watch for the possibility of some strong storms there out across the plains. For us, a dry westerly, northwesterly flow, a ridge will probably start to build back in, and a warming trend will take place because any cooler weather that takes place here in late April and May, it does not last long. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 12th of May. And it's off the GFS ensemble. It pretty much has nothing. European ensemble is a little bit above nothing, but not by much. I mean, we're still under 1/10 of an inch for rainfall. This scattering of members shows precipitation. We'll watch model trends. At this point, it still looks like this next system will be dry, as is almost always the case this time of year. When a system comes through in late April and especially May, this far south, we rarely get precipitation, but of course, you never know. There's every so many years, every 5 to 10 years, there's one of these systems that comes along and it throws a wrench in the works. It has a surprise for us, so we'll see. And then temperatures off the national blend of models. Hey, glorious today, not even bad tomorrow, but yes, we're going to get back in the low 90s. Now, maybe even mid 90s. And if that happens, yep, sure. That's warm, but it's not record-breaking. It's not that crazy out of bounds for the first week of May or the very end of April. This is the kind of stuff that here in Phoenix we are fairly accustomed to. And then cooler for next weekend, and it is possible we may not even make it out of the 70s next Sunday or that Monday, the 5th. So we'll keep you posted. And that is going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, of course you do, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions if you really enjoy what we do here. Hey, how about supporting the channel? Click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube, make those monetary contributions to us, or even better than that is if you donate via PayPal. groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's groffshow@gmail.com for PayPal. You do that, I'm your best friend forever. And so is our cat, Freya. And possibly even the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion. Yes, I'm talking about my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of that same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out, blogs, videos, everything Michelle related. It is all linked up down in the description, as is our streaming station, available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX, playing a ton of music. We have a lot of fun with that, so give that a look and listen. And if you don't want to listen that way, you can go to kmgx.com and check it out over there. And I should also mention, when you look at Michelle's blogs and her YouTube channel, there's a lot of Adriana-related stuff too. Who is Adriana? Well, you'll see. Lots of entertainment. It's entertainment for the adults, the kids, the music lovers. This is a multimedia empire that we have here and that we have built over these years. So please give that a look. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. All of your continued support, so greatly appreciated. Look at that. Look at that beautiful blue sky out there. It's just going to be a fantastic day. But I still want you to be safe out there, and you guys have yourselves a terrific rest of your Sunday.